The idea of an arcade beat 'em up is pretty simple. Beat up bad guys, beat a boss, progress. Now since these are arcade games, the devs have to design their product to make sure quarters get taken from the player. It was an understandable business model at the time. But sometimes there are those games that just go overboard and you're pretty sure some dev is twirling their evil mustache proclaiming, "Give me all the children's quarters!" That game today is B.Rap Boys by Kaneko, or Kaneko, I don't fucking know. Released in '92, this side-scrolling beat-em-up actually looks very appealing on the surface, with nice graphics and a late '80s, early '90s hip-hop vibe. But little did I know the horror and straight-up tomfuckery that was awaiting me. Let's check out B.Rap Boys and try not to beg for mercy. After you put in the first credit, the game shows the characters dancing to a good beat and the music has lyrics, which I was not expecting. What's also cool is that when you enter a credit, a disc scratch sound plays, really driving home the hip-hop aesthetic. I go to pick my character and there's no character select screen like you'd see in most beat-em-ups like Final Fight, but just a headshot. And there's no names for these characters. All the game says is kid. Are these children? Look at this dude, he's built like a house. I'm supposed to believe this is some kid? The game starts and it surprisingly begins with one of those stages where you're automatically moving in one direction, like the skateboard stages in Ninja Turtles, except you're on roller skates. The action is just a 2-button system, attack and jump. You can also grapple and throw enemies, which is pretty standard. Along with the jump attack, if you hit both buttons at the same time, the characters do a different move. In most beat 'em ups, this would be some kind of super move that clears all the enemies around you. It's awesome. In B.Rap Boys, it fucking sucks. The moves have a really long startup, so most of the time you just get hit before it comes out, and when it does, it's just as effective as a normal jump attack. You may get lucky and hit 2 people around you, but it almost never happens, so don't even bother. This opening part is fine for the most part, except if someone comes in behind you. The only thing you can do is some turnaround kick, but after a little while, the stage transitions into a normal beat-em-up style, where you can move in all directions. But this is where you discover how ass the movement and combat combines. Let's say I want to hit someone behind me. You'd figure I'd just point the joystick in that direction and hit a button. Nope. If you point in the opposite direction you're facing, you just moonwalk across the stage. And if you try to attack, it's just that one-hit turnaround attack. So you start asking yourself, how the crap do I turn around? Well, to face the other way, you have to move diagonally up or down in the opposite direction. Why does that have to be like that? And you may be thinking, what's so wrong about how you have to turn around? The best way I can explain it is, say a bad guy is right behind you and you want to start punching them, you turn around, but now that you're not on the same plane as they are, you're mashing the attack button and just whiffing. Meanwhile, this asshole just starts beating you down. This turnaround bullshit is just so unnatural and it's just plain bad design. When making a video, it's really difficult to show bad controls and how bad they operate. You just literally have to play the game to get a full understanding. So I'm just a few minutes into the game and I noticed that something is missing. Yeah, there's no health bars popping up for these enemies. Now this practice isn't always a standard, some beat 'em ups have no health bars. But in those games, the enemies only take about 1 to 3 hits to defeat. In this game, it takes forever to beat an enemy. For example, let's focus in on this bastard and count the moves and hits it takes to bring him down. "10 hits and a throw." 10 hits? It shouldn't take 10 fucking hits to dispatch a simple common enemy. Another weird thing is, when you're trying to combo an enemy, a lot of the time they go flying after 2 hits, sometimes even 1. Rarely I can pull off a 3-hit combo, but what's with this? If one of my punches can send them flying, then why the shit does it take 10 hits to beat a dude? Oh, and the enemies can combo the shit out of you whenever they want. It's so fucking cheap. This game also has the ability to pick up weapons, and if there is anything you want to take from this video about this game, it's this. Use weapons as much as possible. They give you such a long reach so you don't get crowded, and it's such a big help when controlling mobs. Of course, when you get hit, you drop them, and sometimes they drop into the enemy's hands, which I'll admit is pretty cool. I finally make it to the first boss, who is basically just Randy Savage. I learned that in this fight that you can counter throw enemies that try to throw you. You'll get grappled and you have a second to flip the script and slam them down instead. This is actually a really cool feature because there are a lot of bosses in these beat 'em up games that just cheaply grab you at will and there's nothing you can do about it. So the bosses don't have health bars either, but they at least start to glow to let you know that they're almost beat. Once defeated, the stage is over, right? Well, actually no, it continues. That's actually a unique thing about this game as well, is that the stages are really long with different segments and almost no breaks in between. To put in perspective, Final Fight has 6 stages of various lengths with breaks and minigames in between. B.Rap Boys has 3 really long stages with only 2 breaks. An odd choice, but it's not bad at all. After beating the Macho Man, we hop on the log flume of Mount Gory and are met by the hillbilly versions of Mario and Luigi. Seriously, who else could these 2 dudes be? Now what do you think is going to happen next? Are we going to get side-scrolling punching with a bunch of enemies on a moving stage? Are the plumber cousins going to engage us in an awesome boss fight? Well, of course not. You're just going to get drum kits thrown at you and you gotta hit or dodge them. You know, the most likeliness of scenarios. And you'd think, oh, I bet there are segments like this all scattered throughout the game. Well, no. Nothing like this ever happens again, and I have no clue why it's even in the game. It's just out of place. But that is not the oddest thing in this game. That would be what happens next. Once the log ride is over, you find yourself in some factory with a Mega Man X mech next to you. So you hop in this bitch and you have a robot fight. This game is nothing if not randomly surprising. The mech fight is okay, but more annoying than anything, because when this dude just sneezes on you, you get chucked out of your mech. What's annoying about this is, most of the time, he just waits for you to get back up and back into your mech, and then resumes the fight. Well, if he's just gonna wait, why even let me get knocked out of it in the first place? So you beat Robot Man and his mech explodes as your character screams and the words "I did it" appear on the screen. Then you start dancing on this bitch like you just 360 no-scoped him in Fortnite, and that officially ends the first stage. We get another roller skate part where this roided out excite bike freak just starts kicking my ass. I mean, look at this! This dude is off the fucking chain! We get to a normal stage segment, and wait a minute, this dude is flashing? Is he a boss? A boss came out at the beginning of a stage? I've never seen that before. Well, thankfully this giant bull that was just here for no reason took care of him for me. We're now in the part of the game that I like to call the Street of Hell. Because not only does that boss from earlier come back, but these doorways just empty out an entire army. I mean, look at all these fucking people on the screen. This game has no fucking mercy. Thankfully, I'm playing the game via Fightcade, so it's infinite lives and continues. And there's no way this game could somehow make that irrelevant. I get through that clusterfuck and bust into somebody's house, where we finally get a direct encounter with the Super Mario cousins, and I get to demonstrate the power of using a weapon in this game. Yeah, take that, you fucking ass clowns. Got them beat, and now, what? I have to fight them again? Oh, come on! Okay, got them beat again. Ah, shit, the roided Gallagher guy again, and whoa, what? I gotta fight the Skullet Fuck and the Mario cousins at the same time? This is fucking relentless. And of course, it can't just be them, they gotta have a whole gang of dudes with them too. I crawl my way through to be met with more text on the screen. This is it. What is it? No time to think as I'm dropped into a cage match with 2 lions and Amazon Mommy. Seriously, this lady is fucking huge. And when you go to grapple her, dear lord, you're grabbing her by the clam and chucking her. That's fucked up. Her moves have so much range and fuck this sweep kick. I fucking hate that sweep kick. That sweep kick can eat 1,000,000 dicks. So I managed to beat the giant blonde mommy. But of course, it's not over until you beat up her lions too. And let me tell you, it's so fucking satisfying to channel your inner Sabin and just suplex these cats. Also, this is random as hell, but that's Wolverine, right? Now, I've just been getting my ass beat, but I do want to bring up the fact that the game has an awesome soundtrack. There are a few tracks done by a hip-hop group called 3 Stories High, and they sound great. I don't think I've ever played a game from this era that had stage music that had lyrics. It definitely makes this title stand out. And at least while this game is gaping your anal cavity, you get good music to listen to. On to stage 3, and if you thought anything was cheap and brutal before, you're about to see some serious shit that puts it to shame. You start off on this moving platform where by pure randomness, the enemies can just knock you off and instantly kill you. No joke, you could be at full health, it don't matter. This whole part is just full of bullshit KOs. And yeah, you can knock the enemy off too, sometimes, but never as often as they knock you off. The stage then turns into a kind of boss rush mode where you end up fighting all the bosses again, and the sub-bosses, including 2 new bosses that are their own mechs, and of course you can only use your fists. Get through these bosses, another roller skate stage, and then you're in a casino, and it's fucking Boss Rush Part 2. I gotta fight Sombrero Macho Man, Steroid Steve, the Super Hillbilly Cousin Bros, and Lion Mommy all at the same time. This is fucking bullshit. How is anybody supposed to play this in an arcade and beat it? Your parents have to take out a second mortgage on their home to pay for the amount of money this game is stealing from you. But it's okay. Infinite lives. Infinite continues. Let's just get this over with. I get through the onslaught of bosses and sub-bosses for the final match against the last boss, who proclaims that he could beat your ass in only 4 seconds.
Life is gonna last only for a second.
So I'm trying to mash my way to a dub, and this dude is just hitting through everything. I can't combo him at all, and he beats my ass. This is weird. We're back at final match? Okay. I get pummeled again, hit start to continue. No. No way. It can't be. There's no way they would put something like this in a beat 'em up. It's impossible. You have to beat the last boss on 1 life. Otherwise, the fight just starts over. Doesn't matter how many times you continue, how many credits you have. If you're playing via Fightcade with infinite lives and continues, you have to beat this dude in 1 go. Who at this developer hated gamers and kids so much that they would do this? Did someone break their heart during the development of this game? Was this game some vengeance against the world? Against kids and their allowance money? Who could be this sadistic? I tried so many times to beat this guy, and I can't do it. I noticed I had a little success when I approach him from below at an angle, but whatever you do, don't try to fight this dude at the bottom of the screen. He'll just massacre you. And each time you die and restart, he always talks shit to you, which is just pouring salt into the wound.
Dirty little bum! I'm gonna crack your bones!
I never thought I'd find a beat 'em up I could play via Fightcade and not be able to finish it. If I was playing this in an arcade, I would have given up on the first stage. I would not forfeit my quarters to this rigged devastation. I don't think B.Rap Boys is bad, but I wouldn't call it good either. It's just unrelentlessly cheap and brutal. I think it looks cool and the music is awesome, but I will never play it again. Have you played B.Rap Boys? What did you think of it? Feel free to share your thoughts. Thank you for watching.